I have lifeboat number 1. It was on that Titanic. Here's a poem for the Titanic. Has a little history. Well, it's just a poem. The fate of the steerage. When the steerage passengers came aboard the Titanic, these people have sold everything but their soul. To reach America, the ultimate goal, they were thankful for a room below. Never suspecting the danger of being that low, and on the dreadful night, 15th of April, the great ship met the iceberg's peril. No one thought it was necessary that the poor be warned, for no one in first class should have to mourn. The steerage people were assured something was wrong, yet all the white folks have already gone, and the author is unknown. The location of the lifeboat was on the starboard side, which is the right side of the ship for even the airplane. Okay, so about lifeboat number 1. Lifeboat number 1 had many different things on it than all the other lifeboats, like all above, except for number 2, I believe. That was, it has a sail, which whenever, if somebody was to fall over the Titanic, like some drunk person on the Titanic having fun, or an immigrant, then they would get in lifeboat number 1, and what it had on it was that it had these special ropes on it that you can just, it's called emergency cutters, and you just cut them, and then you'll drop down into the ocean and the sail, and you go rescue the person that fell off. But in this case, they used it to get off the boat before it was sinking. So really, everybody else that had the other boats was unfair because lifeboat number 1 could get there faster than all the other boats. Everybody else had to row while they had to win with them. The capacity of boat number 1 is up to 40 people. And on boat number 1, when the Titanic sank, there was only 12 aboard the emergency boat. So not that many people were on lifeboat number 1. Emergency lifeboat 1 was the 4th boat lowered on the starboard side. When boats 7, 5, and 3 had been filled and lowered, few people remained on the forward starboard boat deck. Sir Cosmo Duff Gordon, his wife, and her secretary were among those few. They entered lifeboat 1, as did 2 American gentlemen, one of whom, Charles Stingel, had seen his wife into boat 5 a few minutes earlier. Later, Sir Cosmo would be accused of bribing the crew in the boat in order for them not to row back to the wreck. Apparently, this was a misunderstanding. Sir Cosmo tried to be nice and wanted to get the crew to get £5 each to get new material when they reached safety. Next slide. And like Titanic emergency lifeboat 1. Bob Stokers were ordered in as well as Lookout Simmons, in charge of the boat and an able seaman. There were 12 in it where capacity was 40. It seemed likely that the boat was lowered away with so few people in it so that the 2 collapsible boats nearby could be sent away as soon as possible. Like I said, since they had to sell. Later, Sir Cosmo would be accused of bribing the crew in the boat in order for them not to row back to the wreck. Apparently, this was a misunderstanding. Sir, I just did this next slide. Yeah, I already read that. Next slide. And there's a video. It's on the History Channel.
Mary, push the button for the sound. It's on top of the computer part. Looks like a mouse. Okay. Turn it up, I guess. It's already on.
Nowadays, there has to be a lifeboat seat available for every passenger. have to carry covered lifeboats, unlike the open boats on Titanic that night.
There are still a fair old number of these in service on some of the older cruise liners and passenger ferries around the world, so still good old workhorses and fulfilling the roles of lifeboats today. No need to row them as they would have in the Titanic's days, but the shape and the sort of capabilities are very much representative of what was around there.
As the movie depicts, Titanic carried 20 lifeboats. They could carry 1,200 people, but there were 2,200 aboard. Sounds crazy, but in 1912, the Atlantic was so full of ships, it seemed completely safe.
When you watch Titanic, you get the sense that she sailed on virtually an empty ocean. And the reality is far from that. They nicknamed the North Atlantic run the Transatlantic Railway. There were so many ships sailing across that route, east to west and west to east, that there would be always the opportunity of coming across another vessel in a disaster situation.
That's why Titanic's 20 lifeboats were thought to be plenty, with ships nearby, always ready to help.
Lifeboats in 1912 were seen not as actually there primarily to save life. If a ship was in distress, the passengers would literally be ferried from one vessel to another. So it wasn't necessary to have lifeboat space for every single passenger on board.
Okay, the people that was on lifeboat number 1. There's the first class people, also known as the gentlemen and ladies. The Sir Cosmo Duff Gordon, Lady Lucidi Duff Gordon, Miss Laura Francetelli, Mr. Abraham L. Sutherland, and Charles E. H. Dingle. The lower class are non-wealthy, the stokers and the firemen. Samuel Collins, Mr. Charles Hendrickson, Mr. Albert E. J. Horswell, Robert W. Pusey, Frederick Sheep, George T. M. Simmons, James Taylor. There's Lady Lucille Duff Gordon, and you can tell that she's wealthy because of the hat and the clothes that she is wearing. And then there's a stoker, his name's James Taylor, and he cannot afford a great picture, so there's my work site.